way. But there's also, I put on my metrics glasses, all my analytics glasses for all those nerds out there.
But Thomas Bryant jockstrap, get him out of here!
How does that not indicate to you, like, hey, sometimes, like, these prospects are awesome?
Ramos, get back! They snatched that chain, boy. Get back! What's all gonna do about it? Popeye snatched that chain. Get back! We want that snack wrap. They got 3 flavors. Y'all got 1. Get back!
Hey everybody, welcome into the Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network presented by FanDuel. I'm Ryan Tyler. He's Jack O'Rourke. He's Rob Watson. He is Nick Padone. Today, gentlemen, is January 14th, 2026. Plenty to talk about on today's program. Cleveland Browns continue their head coach search. Is the latest name the new favorite for the position? We'll get to that. Mike Tomlin era in Pittsburgh is officially over after 19 seasons of terrorizing our Cleveland Browns in the AFC North. Some NFL Divisional Round storylines to talk about. Finish it off with some NFL playoff trivia before we dive into our Big Factor FanDuel parlay of the day. Good morning, gentlemen. Happy Wednesday. Jack, I'll start with you. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm just waiting to find out who this next head coach is. You got rumors going left and right. You got Tomlin open now. I mean, it's the best time of the year, right? Like, we're probably never going to Super Bowl, so we got to enjoy these things.
Rob, how we doing?
I kind of got, I'm a little upset because last night I tried to order Chipotle, and then my Dasher canceled the order, and I was waiting for an hour and a half, and I tried to reorder, and Chipotle was closed, and I still haven't got a refund yet. So that was
no refund?
Yeah, nasty work. Maybe I got to wait 2 to 3 days, but I might have to call Chipotle support.
Nick, good morning. You got to unmute yourself, partner.
GG.
Is it not
there
more
we
on
go.
DoorDash support? I feel like that you could put that on DoorDash.
Well, I ordered it through the app, and then they made you DoorDash, and then the Dasher canceled. And then
See, I don't like going through the app for that reason.
Yeah, but going through the app's the only way you could order double meat from home, so it's a little.
I'm tremendously against online ordering Chipotle. I need to go in there. I need to look at them man to man, eye to eye, and coach them up a little bit.
I've actually gotten
I agree.
my biggest burritos from ordering online.
Really? I feel like they always give you less, or it's like
they give you.
I mean,
way
Nick,
more,
you used to work there, right?
I did. That was my very first job.
So I don't know if you could confirm or deny this. I don't know if you have any NDAs going with the fine folks over at Chipotle.
Even if I did, probably statute of limitations, I'd have to say.
Yeah, you're probably good at this point. I've always thought they just took the lesser of the whatever meat was made less recently. That's what they throw in the online order line. I feel like if you want the good stuff, you got to go through the main line.
No, the online
it's a whole
order,
separate place now. They got 2 sections in the Chipotle.
And it was like that even dude, crazy to think, but that was 10 years ago. That it was like that 10 years ago too.
There's times where I've gone in and if they didn't have chicken in the main part, they would go take it from the online place.
When you order online, I feel like they don't have to look you in the eyes, and they will then ship you of food. Has been my experience. So I'm on Nick's camp with ordering online. Hey,
I got
Cleveland
gypped
Browns.
yesterday, TBH.
Maybe the Cleveland Browns will DoorDash a head coach to Berea because we're in need of one. Guys, we've talked about the names that we all know, that we all have heard of before, the internal guys in Schwartz and Reese, some of the external guys, the recent firings, the Harbaughs and Mike McDaniels. But the most recent name that the Cleveland Browns have requested an interview for, maybe we're not all as familiar with. In fact, I wasn't very familiar with him until yesterday. I did a little bit of research. That is one Grant Udinski, the 30-year-old, freshly turned 30-year-old, just turned 30 on Monday. He spent this last year as the Jaguars offensive coordinator. Obviously, their season is over with as they lost to Josh Allen, Superman, and the Buffalo Bills 27-24. Grant Udinski, freshly turning 30. If he did become a head coach, he'd be the youngest head coach in NFL history by 11 months. That's when Sean McVay. All we know about Grant Udinski comes from Minnesota, worked closely with the quarterbacks. You saw Sam Darnold's career resurgence there. Nick, you're a little bit more familiar with one Grant Udinski, the 30-year-old. Is this a guy you're keeping on your radar?
Yeah, it's a great story and a super fast rise. And he was a big name that, the NFL league circle people were throwing around at the time of the combine when they were talking about Jacksonville. And Jacksonville, was a known team that was going to have some interest in the offensive side of the football because they had landed him and they had truly thought that even though he was just a 29-year-old offensive coordinator, that was a huge splash for the Jaguars. Ultimately, we see Trevor Lawrence throw the most amount of touchdown passes that he ever had in his entire 5 years in the National Football League last year with Grant as his head coach. So I'm very curious to see how this shakes out. He also led the quarterback career resurgence renaissance for Sam Darnold during his time in Minnesota. So I definitely think that even though it feels like the Browns are kind of on like the outside track of this whole Harbaugh thing now, they actually might not mind, because I think they were kind of barking up the tree of younger offensive minded coordinator guy anyway.
Grant Udinski was formerly, as we mentioned, with the Minnesota Vikings. According to a report by The Athletic, the Vikings didn't want to let the then 29-year-old out of their building. They had Wes Phillips, their offensive coordinator. He was fully entrenched in that position. That allowed Liam Cohen to go ahead and interview him for his OC job, which he eventually got. Again, if hired, the youngest head coach in NFL history by 11 months. Rob, does this move make you hungry? Does it scare you a little bit? Is it the not safe route, obviously going that young of a head coach at just 30 years old? Or is this something that the Browns, in the position they are, need a big change, and something like a young buck, a good offensive mind, coming to Cleveland would help solve some of these problems?
I think it's a good look. I see why he's becoming the favorite. The Harbaugh thing's probably not going to happen. I've been seeing reports that it's Giants, Falcons, and Titans he's choosing between. And as we move, I think McDaniel's going to have his pick of, if he wants to become a head coach again in a year, if I was him personally, I'd go to like Detroit. And that seems like something that's also a possibility. So I think they're obviously looking for the offensive minded guy. And I think this is someone who's got the most proof of concept left out of all the other people I've seen them interview, and who's kind of out there, a guy that's revived two quarterbacks' careers, or at least given them their best seasons recently. Got a great review from one of the smarter coaches, one of the coaches who I think is one of the highest in the NFL right now, in O'Connell, who gave him a rave review after his time leaving in Minnesota. And now he works well with Liam Cohen, who's a potential coach of the year this year. So Grant definitely is someone who I think is probably a top 2-3 candidate right now. I think the realistic top 3 for the Browns at the moment is McDaniel, Schwartz, and Grant. And I think by going with Grant or McDaniel, you could probably get 2 out of the 3. So,
Jack?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I want to see the coordinators first. Like, I'd be lying if I sat here and said, like, I just watched a shit ton of tape on all these different guys' offenses and, like, what they've done in the last couple of years. Like, I think it all comes down to coordinator, because, like, if you have a younger guy, if you're able to keep, like, Jim Schwartz in that, like, just, like, staunch, stalwart defensive coordinator role, like, the guys already love him. Like, if he could almost be, like, a mentor to him in a way, like, I think I like it a lot more. But if something happens where it shakes out and Jim Schwartz is like, yeah, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, I want to either run my own ship, or I don't want to listen to this guy, like, then it's a little bit more interesting if he has to go out and get his own defensive coordinator, or like some guy you don't know about right now. So I think it all comes down to, like, I guess if you can convince Jim Schwartz to stay with him or not. That's the biggest thing for me.
Well, the Vikings certainly felt Udinski's absence. Minnesota dropped from a top 10 passing offense in 2024 to 29th this past season. Now, granted, a lot you can probably contribute that to the fact you lose Sam Darnold in free agency to the Seahawks. J.J. McCarthy gets his first real season in the NFL. Didn't work out the way many Vikings fans and J.J. McCarthy would have liked. Health played a big part in that, certainly. Vikings reporter Alec Lewis added, though, that losing Udinski in that quarterback room certainly didn't help. In quote, he added salt to the wound. Nick, in this world of the NFL, everybody's looking for their Sean McVay, the sexy, young coach, that offensive genius that can come in, work with the quarterback, and turn the offense around. My question to you, Nick, is this something the Browns, you think, should be headed in this direction? Is this something that Andrew Berry should be looking at? And do you think, ultimately, that this will play out rather than a guy like a Jim Schwartz, an internal hire, with a guy who has much more, NFL repertoire, if you will?
Yeah, I think the one thing that I want to throw out there is that it is still like a bit early in the process. All of these guys have only gone through their first set of interviews with the Cleveland Browns. So with that said, like, I think Mike McDaniel is still very much in the mix of this thing. I really think that, Dan Pitcher, Nathan Shieldhouse, like, you can't just completely ignore them because they are real meetings. I think at some point we got to try to get to maybe by this time next week, like the list of guys that they're interested in talking to twice, because I really think McDaniel probably has a strong case just because he is young. Like we're talking about, McDaniel as if he's this like grizzled head coach. He's been a head coach for 4 years and he's 43 years old. Like it's not like he's been around forever. And I think he could still bring some fresh ideas into the mix here. But when you're asking about like hiring, Udinski, if that's the route that they wanted to go down, I mean, like, let me ask you guys this: the Browns aren't winning the Super Bowl next year, are they?
I would wager to say no.
So you might as well. If you think the kid is going to be a really good coach, and he's got Trevor Lawrence, he's got Travis Hunter, I have to imagine they're only going to try to bring him along even more in Jacksonville next season. It's like, well, he's then going to be a top coaching candidate next year. You're the first team to meet with him. Like, they've obviously liked him. They ran to request that interview literal hours after the Jaguars got bounced. Like, if that's your guy, then call your shot, and whether it hits or whether it misses, we'll be buckled along for the ride either way. But like, if that's your guy, I do think you've kind of got to just call your shot. And it does sound fascinating to me that it doesn't seem like they're really all too pressed, that they're not really into this John Harbaugh thing like we thought that they would be.
If the Browns do elect to go down the route of the young hotshot coordinator, 30-year-old in Grant Udinski, I'll open the floor to this question. Does that to you signal Andrew Berry feeling secure in his GM role? Obviously, I know he's not let go this offseason, but next year we could be having this conversation again if the Browns do replicate what they did last year. Does hiring a guy like a Grant Udinski, the maybe not as safe route as a guy like an internal hire in Jim Schwartz, does that signal to anybody maybe that Andrew Berry feels pretty secure in his role as GM?
I don't know, because in a world, like, just to play devil's advocate, like, say you go with the safe hire and you hire Jim Schwartz as the head coach and you have another 5-win season next year, doesn't that make it kind of easy on Haslam to just clear everybody out? You're clearing out Schwartz, you're clearing out Barry, you're clearing out all the coordinators on both sides. Whereas, like, with Udinski, he literally just turned 30 years old on Monday. Like, you understand that there's going to be a little bit of a leash there. You understand that you had a pretty solid rookie class this year. You got to have another one coming up in April. And with a lot of young premium talent on the roster, you got a young offensive coach to kind of rise up with it. I don't hate the thought process behind it if that's what they want to do. But the thing is, if that's the plan, you got to stick to it. Like, if this guy goes out there and he's not what we expected him to be, then that's just as uncomfortable of a situation, is it not? Because then it kind of turns into Charles Frederick Kitchens, as Zach Jackson said, two coaching cycles in a row with Stefanski sandwich in the middle there.
If Tommy Rees doesn't get this job and they do elect to go Grant Udinski, Tommy Rees, I'm sure, would feel pretty slighted. He's 33, even older than Grant Udinski. I haven't looked at the resumes to compare them, but do we think if they do go this route, it's certainly Udinski over Tommy Rees?
Yeah, I think Tommy would be gone for sure, no?
I know, I'm just saying, like, if they do elect to go this hotshot young guy, the Browns, do you believe that they are clearly more apt to hire Udinski over a guy like Tommy
so you're
Rees?
saying more like, is this like Tommy Rees is the Walmart version of this dude, kind of? Like, is that how they would view it if they hire him?
Sure, yeah. That's
I think so.
He's older than him, but that's it. I think this guy's got more NFL experience and more NFL success. So
he does. He definitely has more NFL experience. And
what has Tommy done in the NFL?
Yeah.
That's why I think his name kind of like bubbles to the top, even amongst some of the guys that have been in the league for longer, like Dan Pitcher, just because, okay, we've seen it with Udinski in two different teams that struggled offensively, but he got his hands on the offense and figured some things out. Like Nate, my thing with Nate Shieldhouse is like, that's Sean McVay's magic. And I think everybody knows that that's Sean McVay's magic. Like, I think Zach Taylor is probably the most successful Sean McVay coaching tree guy. I guess LaFleur out there in Green Bay, but what have they really done? At least Zach Taylor made it to an AFC championship game. So like, I feel like of the unproven pool, Grant Udinski's name does the most for me if that's the route they decide to go.
Well, a guy that certainly isn't unproven, but now looking for a new home, that's one Mike Tomlin. He's out in Pittsburgh. Before we dive into that, I got to tell everybody about Garage Beer. Garage Beer comes in just 2 flavors, classic light lager as well as that classic lime. No frills, no bitterness, no IPAs. It's just the way you want beer to taste, and that is beer-flavored beer. So scan that QR code on your screen or head over to the website, drinkgaragebeer.com, to find local retailers who sell Garage Beer near you. Again, that is drinkgaragebeer.com. All right, guys. 19 years Mike Tomlin has been in Pittsburgh. 19 years he has tortured and battered our Cleveland Browns for the most part. A lot of playoff success kind of in the past, wild card appearances back and forth. No playoff wins since 2016. Now, it's crucial to say he was not fired, but he stepped down as the Steelers head coach. Guys, how will you remember Mike Tomlin era in Pittsburgh?
Big Ben Roethlisberger sitting on the end of that bench crying. Probably not, because the Steelers have had a lot of success against the Browns, but really over the last couple of years, the Browns have gotten the better of them. I think now it's fascinating that Pittsburgh has a head coach vacancy and what that means for the Browns. Does that push them down, or is the Browns more attractive than Pittsburgh because of Myles Garrett? Like, we could do a whole show just on this Tomlin news and kind of what it means for the Browns. But ultimately, I think I'll remember Tomlin as a guy that had a lot of success against Cleveland, and that's unfortunate to say, but this should ultimately be an opportunity for the Browns to hope that the Steelers get it wrong and you get it right, and you could find your guy to coach this thing for the next 19 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, just like absolutely as a winner, first and foremost. Like that Super Bowl where they beat the Cardinals was one of the first ones I remember watching. So definitely like seeing him up there at that trophy. They kicked the shit out of the Browns for forever. Like, yeah, the playoff success didn't always come, especially in the latter half of his tenure. But like all the iconic quotes, like Ryan, we say the standard is the standard every single week. There's you don't care what's in the hot dog as long as it tastes good when you eat it. Like, he has so many good quotes. Like, he's a good coach. He's going to land on his feet. I think he'd make a ton of sense in Baltimore.
Well, I was listening to NFL Network, all that stuff, ESPN mentioning that from Adam Schefter, they don't expect Mike Tomlin to take a coaching job this season.
Really?
Yeah,
Also-
he's not going to coach.
also-
No way. And he can't. You would have
Right.
to trade. You would have to trade 2 first-round picks to Pittsburgh. Who's trading with all of these vacancies? Now it's over 25% of the league. Who's trading 2 first-round picks to the Steelers? He's going to go do TV.
It would have to be the Sean Payton route where you make that trade, because the Steelers do still own the rights to Mike Tomlin because he was not fired. Now let's flip this around to a Browns angle, as we always do. Zach Taylor, the only remaining head coach in the AFC North. Crazy to think about. How much pressure does this put on Andrew Berry, knowing that last year the AFC North called for what is stunk? You had the Steelers in there by default winning the division. How much pressure is now on Andrew Berry to get this hire right? Because it does seem like, as battered as this Browns roster is and as many holes as it has, the AFC North really is for the taking.
Gotta hit on this hire. This is the first time that it's looked like this in 20 seasons. Literally 20 NFL seasons is the first time that you've seen the Ravens and the Steelers have a head coaching vacancy. Nobody believes in Zach Taylor. We know what that is. The Browns have a chance to actually rewrite the last 20 years since they've been here. All we've known is failure and being a bottom dweller. If you hire the next best head coach, if you hit your hire and you hire a coach that's better than the other 2 teams in the division, you have a chance to start being at the top of that division. Now the next 10, 15 years, you could be thought of as the team that got their head coach, and now you've got that solid. You could set the standard instead of just always being the little brother in the AFC North, because right now the division has officially fallen off. It is no longer what it's been, and teams are going to have to start retooling.
Nick, does this kind of change, maybe, in your opinion, the way Andrew Berry views this head coach search? Because looking at how wide open the AFC North is, the fact Harbaugh's gone, the fact Mike Tomlin's gone, do you think it makes him a little bit more apt to do the safe hire into Jim Schwartz, or do you think this is now the time to seize the opportunity and go get your next, as close as you can, to Sean McVay?
Yeah, I think like the Browns are weird. The Browns should, take all that information into account. I don't know that they do, though. Like I really think that the Browns believe that their internal process and their internal structure and just the way that the organization is set up can act independently of what goes on around the National Football League. Like, that was on full display with the Deshaun Watson trade, where, they guaranteed all of that money, and then the owners, go collude against Haslam for the Lamar Jackson extension and be like, hey, even though Baltimore might trade this guy, nobody give him guaranteed money because that's just a Haslam thing, and they operate independently of the 32 or 31 other NFL teams. So, like, I don't really think we could read too much into, like, how Andrew Berry's approach would change because this job is open. But I do think it makes me more, steady in my conviction that if you've got a guy, like, you need to go be making a very strong pitch, a very strong case to them right now, because with all of these openings around the league, there is going to be a lot of turmoil and a lot of upheaval. We're going to see quarterbacks on the move this offseason. Like, you guys understand how, the rest of this fallout comes in when new staffs go into 9 different buildings around the National Football League. So the Browns should be trying to get a head start on all of that stuff. And that would mean kind of making a decision at some point sooner rather than later, even though I do expect this to continue to be a lengthy process. I don't think they're going to listen to us.
So 9 head coach openings, I believe, as we speak. I would imagine that's it outside of a scenario where possibly the Packers and Matt LaFleur's last year, they don't get an extension done. They let him go. And possibly, I suppose, the only other one that you're looking at in the playoffs is a Sean McDermott. Let's say they get their doors blown off in Denver. They lose to the Broncos. They elect to move on from Sean McDermott, although I probably wouldn't expect that at this point. So let's operate 9 head coach openings, right? Obviously, the Browns aren't top tier. I wouldn't say they're as least attractive as, let's say, the Raiders. But then again, they get their quarterback. I guess my question is a hire like Grant Udinski going to be the result of Andrew Berry is hands down going to get his guy, or is this going to be one of those things kind of by default?
I think it could be a mix of both. Because that was the same exact conversation that we had 6 years ago when Kevin Stefanski was hired as the head coach. It was like, well, this is certainly a guy that they like a ton because he interviewed in 2019 when they gave the job to Kitchens, and then he interviewed in 2020, and he was the Browns were the only team that expressed any interest in Kevin. And Kevin did not call his own plays with the Minnesota Vikings there at the end. That last year, he relinquished the play calling duties during his time with the Vikings. So, like, there was precedent for them to do something like this and really have it being like, no, they just went and got their guy. Like, I really think that's what this could kind of be. And remember, at that time, they had invested the #1 overall draft pick into Baker Mayfield. So they were thought to have had one of the more premier job openings with all of the offensive talent of Chubb in his prime. And, like, Jarvis Landry was here. Odell Beckham Jr. was here. Like, it was a really good opening, yet the guy that they went with was not in demand quite actually anywhere else.
Guys, we're going to be talking about this for the next couple weeks, and it's kind of like a blur. Like, I don't know who my favorite would be. I guess I'm getting talked into Grant Udinski. I want something to change, and maybe that's your best bet at it, but I don't know, guys. Well, there are still teams playing in the NFL, meaningful games, good teams, unlike our Cleveland Browns. We start here. Bills are traveling to Mile High to take on the Denver Broncos for a trip to the AFC Championship game. Broncos, Mile High, one of the hardest places to play. Broncos defense is phenomenal. Can Josh Allen do enough to put on his cape and beat the Broncos, similar to how he did with the Jaguars? I made my pick on bonus time. I'm not held to it on here till Friday. Right now, I think the Broncos are going to edge out the Bills. But again, does this mean, do you guys think I should say Sean McDermott is safe because of that win in Jacksonville, or do we think it really does come down to this result?
No, I think Sean McDermott's job is pendant on going to a Super Bowl in Buffalo. Like, I think they could win this week, and they could. Obviously, if they lose like by 1 in overtime in the AFC Championship, he's not gonna get fired. But I think if they don't make it, he's in very big trouble. So I think even if there's a world if they win this weekend, he's still not safe. Like, the pressure in Buffalo is just so massive right now. Like, it's finally the one time you don't get all of the old guard in the playoffs. Like, I understand a lot of the young kids are in this time around, but like, you absolutely have to get it done, and they're going to change a lot of shit up there if they don't.
I'm seeing it right now with Buffalo. I like the Jags win. I liked it. I think when you get to play like a 10-yard QB sneak, I think that says a lot about where the team is at and how locked in they are, and the true just effort it takes to make a play like that happen. And I think Denver's going to, I think that Bo Nix was in the playoffs last year, but the way they've won all year is just these ugly wins. I think that kind of catches up to you. And I think Josh Allen will be the quarterback that makes more plays. And if Buffalo just hangs tough, doesn't let easy stuff happen, they'll be able to edge them out. And Buffalo, I think if they get to the AFC Championship, I think McDermott's got to be safe. I don't think you could fire him after that. It's hinging on this win if he's like 100% safe, though. But I'd take Buffalo as of right now.
Nick, you leaning one way or the other?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. You're looking at an AFC pool that has Josh Allen, a bunch of really not much else. Like, I think Josh Allen is far and away the best QB remaining kind of in the pool. Really, even if you look at the NFC side, like, I want to see Matthew Stafford finish this thing off, but I just don't know that his body's going to let him. And the Rams have had a couple of injuries. So, yeah, I think this sets up really nicely for Buffalo. And it's kind of fascinating to hear Jack say, because I think he's probably right. Like, if you don't get past, what you need to get past this year, I think it's very easy to look at McDermott and be like, well, dude, if you couldn't do it in a year without Mahomes, Burrow, Lamar, like, what are you going to do when those guys are in the tournament?
Well, remember last year, the Bills blew the doors off the Broncos in the wild card round, so Broncos certainly looking for some revenge there. Let's stay in the AFC. Texans and Patriots for a trip to the AFC champion to either play the Bills or the Broncos. Two phenomenal defenses who stood out in that first round of the playoffs. Texans completely shut down the Steelers, get into Aaron Rodgers, 2 defensive touchdowns. The Patriots held the Chargers without a touchdown, so maybe this one comes down to quarterback play. C.J. Stroud in that first half of the Steelers game, call for what it is, looked abysmal, like he was trying to give the game away. Drake May didn't wow anybody, but that's probably because of the game script. They were running the ball. Their defense was doing what they needed to do. Tough one for the Texans traveling into New England. Obviously, DeMeco Ryans been to the playoffs a few times. They're in Houston. Mike Vrabel, his first stint with the Patriots. Just what a turnaround for them. Hard to lean one way or the other in this one. I suppose I'll go with the better quarterback, in my opinion, which is Drake May right now, if I'm calling the defense as a wash, but wouldn't be surprised if this is a low-scoring battle that the Texans found a way to pull out.
I think it's really simple here. If you watch C.J. Stroud play in the wild card game, there's no way you would bet on him. And I think the Patriots also have a better running game than the Texans. So I think that's going to be the two things that carry them to the win. Two great defenses. Not going to be a lot of points, but the Patriots have just enough in the trenches. Travion Henderson is a game changer. Ramondre Stevenson had a big run against the Chargers, and Drake May has shown that he's ready to make more plays than C.J. Stroud at this point. So I would go Patriots too.
Yeah, I think Rob hit the nail on the head with that. Like, just looking at how bad that first half was, Ryan, you said he tried to give the game away 1,000 times. Like, I think if the Steelers just had 11 dudes with a heartbeat on offense, they probably win that game. So I know the Patriots got that.
Nick?
Patriots, not betting against the Patriots at home.
Double digits.
How about a
Wow.
a Bills-Patriots AFC championship?
John?
Divisional championship. They split the regular season series 1-1. It would be
Rubber
the
match.
Buffalo Bills, who have been running that division for years, against the upcoming Drake May. I will be seated. All right, let's flip it over to the NFC. 49ers, Seahawks. These two teams battled in the last week of the regular season for the number 1 seed. Seahawks defense stepped up. They won that one 13-3. Now they hold home field advantage throughout the playoffs. If the 49ers do win this one, they'll hold, I believe, home field advantage, or the Bears technically if they win would, but we know the Super Bowl is in California. Seahawks defense, they split the series regular season 1-1, but that week 1 matchup was a long far cry ago. Seahawks defense is probably the best unit in the NFL right now. Brock Purdy's doing enough, but we know they're battered and bruised, but it comes down to Sam Darnold in big games. This is certainly the biggest game of his career. We know he tends to shrink rather than expand in these big playoff games. Jack, how you see this one playing out?
I mean, you know me, man. I was all over the Niners last week. I have absolutely no reason to change now after they got that W. I told you the best thing to do is to lose entering the playoffs. I love that they lost them a couple weeks ago.
Didn't work out for the Packers like you said it would.
Yeah, walked out for them, though.
Rob, can Sam Darnold get it done in the biggest moment of his life?
I can't make a pick on this right now. I got things working both ways. Like, betting on Sam Darnold is just rough in the playoffs. But at the same time, I just watched the Seahawks absolutely destroy the 49ers a couple weeks ago, and that's why I went with the who are they, the Eagles, but obviously two different teams. There's something that speaks to me that the 49ers, showed a lot last week, but they might have also emptied the clip. Like, you're throwing reverse passes for touchdowns. McCaffrey's jumping over 2 guys to make a catch. Like, it's hard to make all those plays back-to-back weeks. But I don't know, man. Sam Darnold, that's just a risky bet. So I'll be thinking about that one throughout the week.
Nick, can Shanahan's battered, bruised 49ers make it back to the NFC Championship game?
They keep finding a way, and I think when push comes to shove, I'll end up defaulting to the value on the 49ers.
Fair enough. Let's wrap it up here in the NFC. Rams versus the Bears, two teams that needed some late magic to advance to the divisional round. Likely the MVP of this season, Matt Stafford, versus Caleb Williams, the young and upcoming superstar. How do you see this one playing out, Jack?
Reverse psychology, give me the Bears.
All right.
I think we're going to see a shootout because the Bears' defense is awful, but Stafford is pretty beat up. And I think he's got some more plays in him to get him by through another round. So give me Chicago.
I will be going with the LA Rams in this one. I don't like what I've seen from the Bears the last couple of weeks. You walked through that Lions game to end the season. You turned up in the fourth quarter. You did the same thing, scoring 25 points in the fourth quarter against the Green Bay Packers. They have all the talent in the world, but if you're not putting it together for 3-4 whole quarters, I'm not sure you can go ahead and beat Sean McVay and the Rams. I think they'll find a way to pull it out and win this one. Nick?
LA Rams. I'm with you, Ryan.
All right, well, we see how those play out, see who makes the conference championships. Jack, let's end this thing. A little NFL playoff trivia. Take it away, Alex.
All right. By the way, anytime you get compared to Alex Trebek in life, I mean, it's a great day. All right, guys, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 quarterbacks right now who are active in the NFL who have a above 500 record in the playoffs. Can you guys name them?
Let's go.
Jeez, okay, we're gonna have to
Go a little
them
slow
up.
for me, too. Mahomes, yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Hurts.
Yes. No.
Won a Super Bowl and
Stafford.
He's not above 500.
I don't believe so.
Does Matt Stafford?
Stafford is.
Okay. Does I'm trying to think of the
I'd
sleepers
say
that only have one playoff
Jared
game.
Goff.
Jared Goff, not on here either.
Wow.
Or sorry, Jalen Hurts was. I missed him. Jalen Hurts is.
Aaron Rodgers.
Fell to 500 with his last game this week.
How about that?
These are all active.
These are all
Lamar
active.
Jackson.
Lamar.
Maybe not.
No, Lamar is not.
I got to imagine Joe Burrow's sub 500, even though
I gotta look at some names here.
is Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow's on the list, yeah.
Oh, he made it
He's
to
gotta
the
be barely
Super
above
Bowl.
500 with all those
Oh,
losses.
no, he lost one last year.
CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud is on there.
Yes. Jalen Hurts. Drake May.
Drake May is on there.
So then Caleb Williams technically.
Yes,
too.
he is.
'Cause so we're just going with like the guys that are 1-0.
It's a winning record, no?
How many are we at?
Where's Dak?
You guys are at
Prescott
8 of them.
Is Dak above?
Dak is not on there.
Justin Herbert certainly isn't on there.
Justin Herbert is not
You
on
mentioned
there.
Dak.
We did.
Jaden
Is
Daniels.
could Kyler Murray be on
Kyler
there?
is not, but JD is on there.
Daniels
Jaden
is
Daniels got to
definitely
be on there.
on
We
there.
said God. Jordan Love.
Jordan Love is not on
What's
there.
Russell Wilson's record? He went to 2 Super Bowls. He's technically active. QB.
He's on there, yep.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins is not on there.
Is not on there.
Is
Didn't
Phillip
think he
Rivers
would be.
technically an active QB, even though his is probably sub?
I think he's sub, but he is active.
Baker Mayfield's not on there.
Baker is not.
So who were you
All right,
missing?
have the 4 names you're down to. Okay. You got one of them is just like a NFL superstar. No one has said his name yet.
These are, wow.
I mean, it's like a top 5 quarterback, and just no one said his name. And then
Nobody said Josh Allen?
nobody said Josh Allen until right now. So there's that one.
Okay.
All right, here's where we get tougher. We got
Flacco. We didn't say Flacco.
Bam.
Okay, so these are, wow,
Yeah.
not even really starting anymore. Okay.
The last 2, one of them is not a starter,
Kirk
but he's
Cousins?
no, not Kirk Cousins. One of them is not a starter, but he's like
Tyler Huntley.
firmly
only
in the
played
league.
a
Not
couple
Tyler
games.
Huntley.
Okay.
Case Keenum.
No, but it's of that ilk. That's a very good name
Damn
to
it.
like workshop off of who this is. And then the last one, it's like if you got this right, I would give you so much money if you got the last guy.
And they're active in the NFL.
Yes.
So we're going to start looking at backups. Russell Wilson.
Said him.
Already
We
said
got him.
that.
He's on the list.
Did
Okay.
Minshew play a playoff game?
I do not believe so.
Teddy Bridgewater.
No.
Man.
I
Kenny Pickett.
no.
Ooh.
I'm fairly confident this guy has been to a Super Bowl. Actually, I'm
Did
positive.
Jacoby Brissett ever play a playoff game?
No.
Andy Dalton.
No. This guy played in a Super Bowl.
Played in a Super Bowl. Nick Foles is out of the league.
I feel like that would be like the name, like Nick.
You
Foles.
might have to tell us.
Yeah,
you guys want the names?
I'm lost.
All right. Jimmy Garoppolo
Oh.
has a winning record in the playoffs. And the last one, this one was wild. This is why I said you guys would never get it. Do you guys know who John Wolford is?
No.
Well, he's like a 4-string quarterback, right? But get this. So he started for the Rams in the COVID year in a playoff game because I think they might have still had Goff at the time, was hurt. And this guy like blew his arm out on like the second play of the game. But whoever the backup was came in and won. But he gets the playoff win for it.
How about
So yeah,
that?
it's the list.
John Wolford. How about that?
The more you know, less you
Whatever
learn.
the hell. We could have got Garoppolo. That's pain, but all right.
Then I got 2 more. Do you want those or you want to hit the lay of the day?
Give us one more.
All right. 3 quarterbacks who've won a playoff game at 41 plus. Name them.
Okay. Tom
Brady,
Yep.
Brett Favre.
No.
Manning.
No, but he's like right on the list. Like he's right off the cutoff.
God,
Won
he
a
was so
playoff game
old
at
at the end. Drew Brees.
41.
Drew Brees. Yep.
Drew Brees and okay.
This guy won his playoff game in 2007.
At 40
And it
years
wasn't
old.
Favre.
No. This guy was a Cleveland Brown also.
Vinny
Trent
Testaverde.
Agent DA.
Bang.
Who?
Vinny Testaverde.
Vinny Testaverde. How about that?
6'7".
Well, good thing we're not betting on those trivia questions.
Six,
Nick, let's tell everybody about FanDuel and then wrap this up.
Yeah, guys, absolutely a ton of action over there on FanDuel today. You got the NBA, you got the college hoop slate. But you know how fast NFL game days move. One big play and everything changes. That's why live betting on FanDuel is a game changer, because with FanDuel, you can bet in real time while the game unfolds. If the score just flipped, jump on a new spread or a live money line. If a wide receiver is starting to heat up, bet on his total yardage or next touchdown score. Think a drive is going to stall in the red zone, take that live field goal prop or just fade the total altogether. Live player props, team totals, drive results, updated spreads, next play markets, it's all there. It's fast, it's fun. And with FanDuel, your bets move as quickly as the game does. So whether you're riding momentum or fading the hype, FanDuel puts you right in the middle of every moment. Visit FanDuel.com/bigplay to download the app and bet the NFL with us live all season long. Must be 21 plus, present in select states. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com.
All right, Jack, a little mixed bag today. Take it away.
Yeah, nothing better than hopping on around. We're starting out with some hockey. We're going all the way out to the Staples Center. Vegas Golden Knights going to walk into LA and keep their winning streak going. Then next, but definitely not least, we're heading out to Rob's former hometown. We're going out to Boston a little bit here. We got the Terriers. Lehigh coming into their building. We're taking the Terriers money line. Boston U to get the win tonight in basketball. Vandy heading into Texas. We're taking the Commodores on the road. Undefeated, right? Undefeated. Wow, I love it. And last but not least, a team who most certainly has been defeated. I believe it's 19 times at the moment. Your Cleveland Cavaliers are going to walk into Philly and get right back on the right track. We're taking the Cavs money line, Knights money line, BU money line, Vandy money line, Cavs money line.
You heard it here first. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, that FanDuel bet $5, get $300. Appreciate them. Appreciate our great friends at Garage Beer. We'll be back tomorrow, same people, same time. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and we'll catch you then. Peace out.